No, don't go that way. Go the other way. See, this is why you die later.
Peepers sighed. Well, that was yet another part of the movie spoiled for him. Haters seemed to do that a lot. Grop, he didn't even understand half of what was even going on in this movie in the first place, but Hater's constant screaming wasn't making that any easier. The watchdog was half asleep, not used to staying up so late. It was 3 in the morning. This was not a movie night anymore. This was killing him. They'd watched 5 movies already. This was their 6th. All by Lord Hater's request, of course. He must admit, his lover's choice in movies wasn't half bad, although that one with the cyborgs earlier had the worst acting he'd ever seen. So watching them was bearable. If only he could hear them, that was.
Oh, come on!
Hater yelled, stuffing another handful of popcorn into his mouth, spraying the kernels everywhere as he ranted.
Anyone could see that was a bad idea. Shoot at it! Don't run, you coward!
With a growl, his brow settled into a frown. Darn characters never did what he wanted. Peepers' eyelid was drooping, but he had forced himself to stay awake. The last time he fell asleep during one of their movie nights, Hater had the grumps the next day. He didn't need the silent treatment again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stop to kiss the girl. Ugh, that's disgusting. Just like the stupid monsters, you idiot.
Hater.
Oh, come on already. What's the stupid romantic stuff? This is a thriller movie for a reason.
Hater.
You ran out of bullets already? You barely done anything, you stupid
Hater!
The skeleton paused, his hand stuffed in his mouth from where he had thrown in another round of popcorn. He turned his skull to look at his lover, his eyes wide.
Yes, Peepers?
I can't hear it.
Peepers said irritably, shooting him a glare. If they hadn't been secretly dating for 2 months already, Peepers wouldn't have dared talk to his lord like this, nor glare at him in such a manner. Hater stared for a second. Had he really been talking that loudly? He hadn't even realized. The skeleton cast his eyes down, not looking at the commander now.
Sorry,
he mumbled around his hand. Peepers nodded to him, then looked up at the screen. It hurt slightly to do so, what with his lack of sleep and all, but he willed himself to do it. He'd just have to have an early night tomorrow to catch up on the sleep he'd missed tonight. Hater wouldn't mind. It was only 5 minutes later that Peepers noted the shift in body language, and he looked up at the skeleton. Hater still had his hand stuffed in his mouth, even though the popcorn had long gone into his stomach. His eyes were wide, and Peepers recognized that look immediately. It was when Hater was trying to resist something. The watchdog's eye became half-lidded. Did he really need to talk that badly? Oh, what was he thinking? Of course he did. This was Lord Hater he was talking about here. He had to speak. Couldn't stay quiet for that long. Besides, the character he'd been ranting about just died. Surprise, surprise. He probably wanted to boast about how he was right.
Hater?
Hater looked to him.
I'm being quiet,
he said after a moment, as though trying to reassure him.
I know.
He sighed, probably going to regret this, then waved a hand.
Go ahead.
See? This is what I was talking about! You're dead!
The words exploded from Hater's mouth, his hand finally coming out. The glove was covered in spit from being in Hater's gob too long. Peepers sighed again. Movie nights always ended up like this. Admittedly, he did anticipate the odd cuddle while watching movies, but that was wishful thinking. Hater didn't cuddle. Not while watching his favorite movies, that was. Oh well. He couldn't hear the film, and Hater was distracted. Perhaps a quick nap would do. If Hater really had any complaints about it in the morning, he could simply counter with how Hater couldn't shut up. The watchdog, all decked out in his lightning bolt-covered onesie, shifted himself to get comfortable on Hater's bed. After a quick thought, he rested his head on Hater's lap, which seemed to go unnoticed.
Next time, I'm picking the movie.
See? Didn't I tell him, Peepers? He's dead now, and it's all because he didn't listen to me.
You sure did, Hater. You sure did.
Peepers murmured in reply, shutting his eye as he settled down. It took several moments for Hater to even realize that Peepers had relaxed against him. When he did, he looked down, leaning forward slightly to see Peepers' face. For some reason, he didn't feel quite as annoyed as he usually would. Instead, he just gave the watchdog a little smile. placing one of his warm hands over the watchdog's body as a makeshift blanket. In response, Peepers hugged his thumb, pulling his hand closer. The skeleton gave him another quick smile, then turned his attention back to the screen. Sneakily, Peepers tilted his head up and opened his eye to peek up at Hater, his pupil having morphed into a love heart. Yeah, Hater was loud and fairly annoying during these late-night dates, but the commander wouldn't have it any other way.